think they actually believe what they're talking about because the whole thing is so random. I don't think they actually believe what they're talking about because the whole thing is so random. I don't think they actually believe what they're talking about because the whole thing is so random.
Here I come.
Okay, JLUV. You see what I did there? I'm only messing with you, bro. Listen, I think you are a little bit out of your depth. So you have two choices. Number one, stay in your own lane and talk about things you understand. Or number two, educate yourself and then make an informed video. It's quite simple, really. As you said, we're not stupid. Now, I do like okJLUV. I have watched his content, follow him, subscribe to him on YouTube. However, I think some of the points that he raised in his video were not valid. He was making comparisons between crypto, stocks and shares, the stock market, traditional investment asset classes to Pokemon cards. And it's not really a comparison you can draw, especially not because this is collectibles. These are physical, tangible things and goods that you will hold and invest in. As some of you may know, I have my disagreements with Alex from Nomics. I have made a video on it previously, talking about how I don't agree with certain things that he has said. However, on this one, guys, I'm going to link his video down in the description. Make sure you go and check it out. He does an excellent, and you too, JLUV, I would highly recommend you go and watch that video to understand why Pokemon products are actually valid investments. Now, you might not see the value there. And yes, some of the points you raised are correct. However, go and see what Alex has said, all of the data and especially this is data that's readily and easily available and has been for a very long time. My stomach's rumbling. Anyway, back to the point. I'm going to break down some of the things that JLUV said in his video and respond to them accordingly. Hopefully you get to see the other side from the investment bros. Now myself, I am more of a hobbyist collector rather than a business. But I collect for investment and because I enjoy it. And yes, of course, I also do have somewhat of a business online where I sell on eBay. And, you know, that's essentially part of what I do. And I think most people do buy and transact on eBay. Maybe they're not selling, but I do. I don't have big skin in the game. I sell every now and again. I do have an eBay store where I sell stuff. But take this from me. And I hope you enjoy my response to some of JLUV's comments.
Then you got a set that comes out in a month. This one hasn't even come out yet. Twilight Masquerade. Set hasn't even hit the shelves yet. And you already got people talking about whether it's going to be a good investment or a bad investment. My brother, let the thing come out before you start talking about whether it's going to make you a whole lot of money or not.
Now, JLUV, with this, I totally agree with you. Okay, you cannot make predictions on what prices will do in the future. It would be stupid. And I don't think anybody who's reputable that understands this space would tell people, ideally, would not tell people how to invest and predict in that way, okay? Because investing is different. Predicting is something else. Investing is something else. Nobody knows. It doesn't matter what asset it is. We cannot ever accurately predict where an asset or an investment will be in 1, 3, 5, or 10 years' time. So yes, on this point, I fully agree with you.
Go and look at the cryptocurrency side of YouTube. You'll see this, and you've probably seen this before, where when it's booming, it's super popular. You're seeing a whole bunch of videos in your feed. That's because you're getting literally spammed. Super popular, people looking for a way to make a quick buck. And the cryptocurrency YouTubers do the same thing. Every day, they're just making a video talking about an altcoin. Whether they think the altcoin is a good investment or not, it doesn't matter. They're just going to talk about it for 10 minutes, get people on board, right? Pokemon card hobbyists, investors, in my mind, doing the exact same thing.
Now you make this weird comparison with Pokemon and crypto, and they're both very, very different. I think you know that as well as I do, as well as your subscribers and people watching you. I think it's a little disingenuous to say that people are looking to make a quick buck, especially in this space. Yes, there are some bad apples, but by and large, nobody is, okay? And then to say that we do the same thing as crypto YouTubers who are trying to pump crypto, it's very different. Let's go back to the point. This is talking about investing, okay? Not scalping. I think perhaps you are confused and you're mistaking investing with scalping. If you want to talk about scalping, then that's a completely different conversation here. But if you're talking about investing, investors, and investing YouTube channels for Pokemon, then it's very, very different to what you have portrayed from the altcoin crypto space. Generally, most crypto investors or these crypto bros, these investment bros, are talking about stuff that they're pumping and dumping, or that's being pumped and dumped. Okay, this can happen in Pokemon, but it's not as frequent as that. And remember, again, we are talking about investing here. Investing meaning 3 years, 5 years, 10 years time. And the comparison to altcoins and altcoin YouTubers to Pokemon investing YouTubers, it's kind of like makes no sense, because altcoins by and large are shitcoins. They're meme coins. They have no intrinsic value. Whereas with a Pokemon sealed booster box, which is what most investors talk about, yes, there are other products that are also spoken about and cards, but by and large, it's about investing in sealed booster boxes. Okay. Now, largely, most altcoins, shitcoins, meme coins have no intrinsic value and serve no purpose. Pokemon cards do serve a purpose because they're used in the TCG. They're used by streamers many, many years down the line, by YouTubers like yourself. Okay, perhaps your channel is different, but used by YouTubers much like yourself to rip open further down the line once something is considered old, out of print, semi-vintage, or vintage. Most altcoin projects will be dead within a few years. Pokemon is not. It's been here for more than 25 years, as you know.
Collecting or investing, because the value of Pokemon cards is the lowest it's been in the last 2 or 3 years. So this is the period where everybody's going to start losing their money.
You speak about Pokemon being at all-time lows. This is actually a great time, especially if investing in Pokemon product, because you make your money when you buy low and you sell high. It's pretty simple. It's pretty easy concept to understand. And actually, I would say that now is the best time to invest, because when things are at all-time lows is when you make your money, because you pick up the product at really super cheap prices. Do you remember XY Evolutions? They were selling for sub $100, even $80 when that set came out. Look at the prices now. I mean, here we go. So it's all in the data.
Is the lowest it's been in the last 2 or 3 years. So this is the period where everybody's going to start losing their money. Now, the other side of this coin is the business. So a lot of businesses are starting to make YouTube channels. Why pay for advertising, or why pay for an influencer to talk about your business when you could just do it yourself? Now, inherently, I don't have anything against these channels. I just think they're really super disingenuous. They try to act like your friend, which is super weird, right?
It's interesting you make this presumption about business YouTubers in the Pokemon space. Everybody that I know of, okay, there might be some, you could prove me wrong, that are businesses that also do Pokemon on YouTube. You say that it's parasocial and that they are just being nice or putting out information in order to get currency into their business. Now, how is this any different to YouTubers who create other alternative content who are looking for social currency? Okay, it's not financial, but there is still some reward on the back end. Not to mention that once you pass a certain threshold, you can make money via ad revenue. Yes, maybe not as much as a business selling to their clients and their customers, but by and large, most business channels in the Pokemon space are actually quite trustworthy guys, especially the big ones who sell at really good prices. I don't see them trying to push or pump. And, as you said, people aren't stupid. If people are pumping, if these business pages were pumping up the product, then it would be very clear and plain for everybody to see. So, I mean, look, I don't disagree largely with you on that. It is a little bit questionable, but it's not really that big a deal.
A big financial decision based on that video, and then it's not a good decision. The card drops in value, or the boxes drop in value. All of a sudden, you get 50 people that are going to lose their money. That's what's happening right now. We're in this period where Pokemon cards are just not worth as much as they were a year or two ago. And people that are making big investments, or putting all of it on black, are starting to see the reality of what they're doing.
Again, you make this parallel about all in on black. I don't know of any reputable or larger YouTuber who is in the Pokemon space that creates business type Pokemon content or investing content that would ever tell somebody go all in on a product. Okay, by and large, myself and most other people, and I'm not anything on the spectrum, I am literally a tiny little YouTuber in this space. There are much larger voices than mine on YouTube. However, I'm yet to come across somebody who is of any substance that has said go all in on one product. If I am wrong, point me in the right direction.
FOMO, because again, you guys aren't dumb. Most people aren't really getting baited into the whole fear of missing out thing, but it's the urgency, right? It's the preying on emotions that just really, It rubs me off the wrong way. Especially so when you got people talking about graphs and trends and trying to draw correlation with all this stuff. At the end of the day, there's no trends, there's no correlations, there's only...
And graphs and trends are important. This is why they're used, because it is objective data. Objective, quantifiable data, which we're looking at. It's not subjective. So when you look at sets that are 3 years, 5 years, 10 years old, the only thing you can rely on is objective data.
Correlations. There's only one main constant, and that's that anything viral is going to pop off. The value of Pokemon cards, booster boxes, whatever, is based on how popular it is, whether people are talking about it. And so the more that you talk about a set, the more that you spam it, the more people are seeing it, thinking about it, naturally that set is going to become more popular and worth more. That's why it's always the most popular Pokemon like Umbreon or Charizard or Rayquaza, those cards that are always worth the most, because those are the Pokemon that people like the most.
It has everything to do with scarcity, by the way, JLUV. It has everything to do with scarcity. Okay, the more scarce a thing is, and as we know, when Pokemon sets are old and they get more scarce, there's no boxes left. It's not being printed. The scarcity is what drives the price.
The demand will drop, and then the price of the whole thing will drop because everybody's able to get some. It's what we're seeing with 151 right now. So the investor channels, I don't think they actually believe what they're talking about, because if you just took a step back and looked at it rationally for a couple of minutes, you'd see that it's too difficult to predict this and to give advice to people and then preface it by saying, oh, this isn't financial advice.
And this again is very subjective. It's not about whether we believe in it or not. I mean, most of us, myself, and a bunch of other people that do this in the Pokemon space for YouTube, we look at the objective data. What are the trends? The graphs and trends tell us where prices are going, where they have been, and where they are settling, evening out, and then going back up again. And I have a little challenge for you, just on that topic. Find me any booster box in Pokemon right now that's 5 years old or more that is selling for less on the open market, for less than the original MSRP. I'll wait. I mean, even really shitty sets like Rebel Clash, Steam Siege, sets that really weren't very, very hot and popular because of the scarcity I previously mentioned, are worth a hell of a lot more. I'll have some prices up on the screen and some graphs, since you don't seem to like them very much.
A prediction or a parallel when you're investing in Pokemon cards, because the company that makes them at any point in time can then just decide to reprint and blow the whole thing out. When you buy shares or cryptocurrency, generally there's like a finite amount of them. There's not enough for everybody to get some, right? So someone's got them, they're gonna sell them to somebody who wants them. The whole supply demand thing, but there's a finite amount of supply.
It's quite interesting that you bring up stocks and shares and obviously crypto along that, but we've already addressed the crypto issue, right? Have you ever heard of stock splitting or share dilution? I think you should really go and look into that, because at any given time, a company at any given time can issue more shares to raise capital, and that can have a negative impact on the investors. With Pokemon, however, the difference is that once a set is out of print, in my estimation and from my understanding, and again, feel free to prove me wrong, after about a 5-year period, Pokemon don't reprint sets. So it's not an accurate comparison to make in this scenario, because with a company and a stock or share, which you would class as a traditional asset, it's very easy for a company to go in and decide that we're going to split the stock, dilute the share, and then people lose money. Okay, with Pokemon, that's not the case. They don't decide 5 years, 10 years, 15 years down the line to reprint a Neo set, a Gym set, anything from black and white. We haven't seen that, and it's very, very unlikely to happen. If it did, I'd be buying a lot. I mean, you're free to show me a set that's more than 5 years old that has been reprinted by Pokemon. And that basically brings me on to the supply and demand issue, because you brought that up, but it's almost as if you're contradicting yourself. And I think you've done this unintentionally, not knowing, because we all know that with time, supply goes down, okay? Demand goes up, especially in the Pokemon space, i.e., as I said before, Rebel Clash, Steam Siege, and a bunch of other not very popular sets that are now selling at double what they were initially. So, as supply dwindles, the price goes up. Anyway, guys, if you did enjoy that video, make sure you slap the like button, headbutt the bell notification, and fly kick that subscribe. JLUV, look, bro, I agree with a lot of what you've said, but I think somehow in this video that you made, well-made video, by the way, I think that it needed a bit more nuance and, just general investing in Pokemon, the channels that exist. Most people aren't telling their subscribers or people that are watching that video to go all in on anything, trying to create artificial scarcity. Scarcity is scarcity. If you go on eBay and there's a bunch of stuff listed and there's a large supply of it, then prices are just not going to go up that way. I mean, we saw what happened with Temporal Forces. You mentioned it in the video. The Ghastly card, for example, people picked up on that quickly. We're not dumb. We're not stupid. We know what things are worth. But obviously, like you said, it's impossible to predict into the future, and I agree with you on that. However, if we're talking about investing and not scalping, then in that scenario, a 3, 5, 10-year period is generally what we would suggest to people to invest in. And that actually does return pretty much across the board on all booster boxes. Even the really, really crappy sets, the sets that people don't like, are selling at double MSRP or whatever they would have been selling for, $100, $120, $150 at the time. Guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. As I said, make sure you slap that like button, leave your comments down below, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.